I'll start with the introduction first, and then we'll go from there. Then after me, Letty will do it, and then you, Carlos, you wanna give it a try?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys, welcome to the far side of the moon. My name's Albert. We got Carlos and Letty here today, and we're gonna talk about Raised by Wolves. Yes, we're gonna talk about Raised by Wolves today. First episode only. That's all we're gonna talk about today. Letty, you wanna try that?
Hi guys, welcome to the podcast to the far side of the moon. I'm Letty. We're with Carlos and Albert,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be talking about Raised by Wolves, episode one.
All right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say you guys' name and have a little pause, let you guys say hi, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Hello and welcome to the podcast Far Side of the Moon. Here, co-hosting with me today, I've got Albert.
What's up, guys?
I've got Letty. Hello. Oh, did my internet drop?
What?
I didn't hear
Okay,
Letty.
I could talk about the of what we're gonna be talking about.
Um, and me, Carlos. All right.
Cool.
Then we can get right into today's topic. Will be Raised by Wolves, episode 1 and 2. Okay.
Damn, Carlos, not to like pressure you or anything, but I think you should do the intros.
Dude,
I'm okay with that.
I like the way it sounds. Maybe just be a little bit louder, because it sounds like
I,
you're kind
I've
of.
got I've got to plug in this giant mic that I've got, dude. That next time we do this, we can use that. Well, no. If we do it in person, then it'll come off just fine.
Definitely. Yeah, cause dude, it sounded really cool, like the way you said it, but it sounded like your neck went into its shell, and you were kind of talking like super slow. Like you were talking fine right now. Like I think that would be great.
Okay.
Sounded really good.
Oh,
Definitely. All right, cool.
mm.
Well, you guys want to get right to it, I guess.
Yes.
I'm doing a little something right now. Let me just see this. See if this adds anything for you. No, you know what? I'm stopping what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, let's get right into the show. It is an HBO Max original. I believe it's only available through the app. I don't think you can watch it on the channel cable,
Interesting.
Mhm.
and it's pretty good. I like it a fair amount. It's a sci-fi series. It looks like it's gonna be 10 episodes for the first season, and we are recording this as the 10th episode just aired.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Fun facts. Now, do you guys want to talk about what expectations you went in to the show with?
I can't. When I saw the trailer, I knew it's gonna be an amazing show, but like I thought it was gonna involve aliens. I
Mhm.
didn't think anything about cyborgs, and or androids, and I was expecting wolves
I was
because it's
expecting
in the
more wolves
title.
too. I was
But
expecting more
I
wolves.
saw, but I once I saw it, I was like, I think this has to do with aliens. That's what I was expecting because of the way they show Mother in the trailer.
Mhm.
I just kind of like this would be a perfect image for an alien. Like
Hmm.
not it's not like it usually is with the big head and black eyes or like stuff like that. It was like wow,
Yeah.
like if aliens looked like this, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Albert, you got anything?
No, dude. Honestly, like I saw the trailer and it looked great. I was like, damn, like, this is something that I'd be interested in, since
Hmm.
I myself am a big Doctor Who fan, of
Yes.
course. So anything that has to do with outer space, I'm intrigued by it. Honestly, the first episode, I'm pretty excited to check it out. Well, I mean, we already saw it, right? I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited to talk about it, and I just can't wait.
Cool.
Just can't wait to talk about it. That is.
And I'll just top that off with, I guess, not my expectations, but I want to say, just to kind of undercut everything we've talked about so far, it is a good show. But I went into it, I liked the first few episodes, and I started getting a sense of dread. Like, oh, like I don't know if this show can meet the expectation that I've set for it already.
Wow.
So it's got a lot to live up for just for how good it started off. I'll just say that.
Okay.
All right. And now we can get into the recap of the first episode. I guess we could just do this sort of free form, just talk about what happened. If anyone wants to chime in with something that they noticed or that they remember that I might not, then I encourage that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, cool. Could I actually start with just saying that how it kind of starts off, just like always, just like anything to do with basically the future, how the human race is always doomed to
Yeah.
kill itself.
Mhm.
Like it's always war and destruction and the giant like explosion that I saw. And I was like, of course, because what else could we do to ourselves besides just I don't know about talk about peace and try to move on from Earth?
Giant
So
explosion, you're talking about like the intro for the second episode?
no, it's the
No,
intro
no,
for the
no.
first one.
Yeah, because you know how it starts off with the ship, or is it called a ship? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a ship. Flying, there's no humans, nothing. I mean, it's a different planet, right?
of course.
But I mean, something obviously happened to the humans if we had to go to a different planet. And then literally, like, it starts with the mother and father opening like a little home,
Right.
if that's what it's like building. I don't know. They just opened a bag and a home appeared, and they're putting they're connecting the umbilical cords to the mother so she can start rebuilding the human race. So
Right.
I thought it was like, okay, something happened in Earth and we're all dead. I That's what I got from it.
At
I don't
least
know.
I think that's actually what I saw before the ship came up.
Hmm.
Didn't we see a giant explosion like of an atomic bomb or some sort of bomb go off
On
on
the
Earth?
first step,
The very first episode, yeah.
no, it starts with the ship because I wrote in my
It
notes.
starts with the
I was
ship.
like, oh, Star Wars vibes.
The opener in the second episode shows the ship again, and it did have an explosion in the
In the
background.
second episode.
That was the second. Okay.
Okay,
But
okay.
that's the opener of every episode now. Like that's the opener.
Hmm. I thought it was like, because like I said, I was expecting aliens, but like the big clue that okay, these aren't aliens was that the ship is about to go into the hole, and
Hmm.
both the father and the mother show no emotion. Like they're just like, oh, I think we should get out. Like that's it. Like no emotion. It was
There
kind of
seems to be a problem, mother.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of just let's go. No emotion. No like oh my god, we're about to fall. Like like something you
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah.
The that panic moment.
Yeah, and it was like a big giveaway that okay, they're not human, they're not aliens. Because even aliens, I'm sure they have emotions.
Right.
So
Hey,
Maybe.
Carlos,
Yes.
did you get anything from the planet that they talked about that they arrived to? Kepler 22b?
Like the name?
Yeah, like do you know where that's from or did you think anything
I
of it?
I I only know the name Kepler from a spaceship in Faster Than Light.
Okay.
What
Well, actually,
what is it?
Kepler 22b, and I know this because I watch a bunch of like top 5 videos of just random stuff. So my head is filled with random knowledge, right?
Random trivia.
So so okay, cool. Kepler 22b is actually a planet that is found God knows like 600 light years away from Earth, but is actually twice the size of Earth and it's one of the most similar planets to Earth actually. So I thought it was really cool that they used that planet
Hmm.
because that's technically I guess as realistic as it could get. The idea is to get to a planet that's like Earth to continue on, I guess
civilization.
the civilizations, yeah, rebuild and all that.
So it's science fiction within the realms of possibility.
Exactly. That's why I thought it was great. I was like, wow, they're using a real planet that's out there in the galaxy, in the giant abyss, right? This is a real place that they're using. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like that. I mean, how could we know?
How do you know it's
But
not?
exactly, dude. Maybe it does look exactly like that. But yeah, I thought that was really amazing that they used that planet.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I really like when a science fiction show or movie goes as far into things with like reality as possible. Like I enjoy the fantasy as much as the next guy and the
Of
fiction,
course.
but I really like my fiction to be grounded in reality.
definitely.
But yeah, so talking about the first episode, of course, we know these two androids get shipped off. They land on Kepler 22b and they start to try to set up a colony. They start off with 6 kids,
Yeah.
and the show shows that slowly these kids die off. Usually, one of them falls into a hole, and the other ones get a little sick,
Sick.
and it is left down to the last child. And at that point,
Champion.
Champion.
at that
That
point,
character
we
is
are to
weird.
believe that the human race is pretty much screwed. There's no way that this kid is gonna make it. But the father is saying like, oh well, there's a spaceship coming down, full of believers. The what's it called? The
Yeah.
religion.
The mythologic. That's the
Methylated.
religion, I
Yeah.
guess, that they have.
Oh my god, we gotta make sure we know how to pronounce that for the next time.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
Point is, the boy and his colony is supposed to be atheists. Their androids are teaching them to be atheists. The Mithraic race believes that androids raising humans is a sin. So we really don't know how they're going to react to this boy being raised by these humans, but they're the only chance he's got. The the father tries to send up a message, fails, ends up being killed by the mom android because she believes that they shouldn't fraternize with the believers.
and I feel like that was one of the first moments that mother actually showed emotion. Besides the fact that when she actually gave, when her sixth embryo was
Yeah.
born, and he was a stillborn, which was named Campion right after that, right? Because the youngest of the lot was supposed to be named after their not creator, but I guess the guy that represents them, which is
Yeah.
Campion, all the atheists.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. That's the first moment that the android actually breaks character, I guess, or shows a
Shows
little
a
bit
bit
more
of
of
breaks
emotion,
yeah,
programming.
and she starts crying once she realizes. And I like the fact that she kept on doing this, like or they showed her when with Spiria when she passes away, she's
just
singing.
changing.
Yeah, she's singing to Spiria the way she did with Campion.
Yeah,
And I feel like she kind of did that because you know how she sang to Campion and she brought him back.
yeah,
I feel like it was like a kind of a last hope of her singing to them to see if
bringing them
maybe
back.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess
And I
so. I didn't see that. I didn't realize that.
yeah, no, yeah, dude. Like the whole time, obviously, I thought that was great. The obviously the characters, mother and father, which are the androids here. I like that they have humor to them, and mainly the father. His
Yeah,
father's, I guess, is very like the what do you want to call it?
they're
Stereotypical,
typical. Yeah,
stereotypical mom and dad.
Hmm.
The mom is kind of strict. The dad's always funny. You know, he's trying to pull off some random science jokes. Like the very
Yeah,
first one was it about
like an android. What does one android say to another android? Or no, the
no, what
no,
does a
magnets.
magnet say to
Magnets.
another magnet?
the
Once I saw your backside.
yeah, the female magnet and the male magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I saw your backside and I felt repelled,
Yeah,
but once I saw your front side, I was attracted, or
yeah.
something
It's
like
like
that.
God damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I really like that. But I guess when the first child was born, or the last one was born, stillborn, I feel like that's the time where she actually started became a little bit more human. I guess some
Yeah.
emotions started to show up because they are just calm and they start going all crazy and stuff. And as the years progress, Carlos, like you said, like they slowly start dying, sadly, right?
Hmm.
I feel like through every death, as they didn't show every death, but I
They
feel
didn't.
like every death did affect the mother, completely separate from the way it affected father. Because father seemed pretty like calm about every situation and
Hmm.
just stick to his programming.
there
But
is
nah,
definitely something about the mother that is different.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe she's a wolf.
Maybe.
Well, yeah. When with what's her name,
Tally.
Tally, when she passes away, she does that little howl when she finds a doll and she does this little
Circle around her head.
circle around her head and she howls. I was like, oh, that was like the first reference that they showed to a wolf.
Yes.
So
Well,
I thought
actually, I want to pull it back further and say that she had a litter of pups.
that is true. I mentioned that actually. I was like, the way that they're doing the umbilical cords, it reminds me of like a little, cause she's connected to the babies through the outside of her body, not the inside. So it was kind of like, oh, she has like six nipples, like a dog or an animal would.
Yeah. Yeah. And then later, after she kills father, she's going a little psycho. Not sure why, but she digs up bones.
I actually brought this
Yeah, man.
up. Um,
Maybe.
the first time
Sí.
the first time she malfunctions is when Spiria passes
No,
away. I feel like that was the effect that every child had on
está
her.
Juan.
So when
Mándame un
Spiria
mensaje cuando
passes
estés
away,
afuera.
she just, I think she couldn't handle it. Like
Well,
that's why
well,
she
that's
started
after
malfunctioning. And
she
when it
killed
comes,
father. At that point,
no,
it could be that she feels that she's so betrayed by what father did.
no, Spiria dies and then she attacks father.
Well, she attacks father because father was trying to signal the ship.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, she does.
Yeah, but she attacks him after Spiria passes away.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
but yeah, it's definitely that as they lose more people, her programming seems to go worse and worse, and she ends up
Yeah.
like presenting various signs of madness in the way she acts, and she seems like she's getting sick with fluid coming out of her. It's like white oil or something. I don't even know how to
Yeah.
Yeah.
describe it. But
And
so this whole thing goes on. She goes crazy. She ends up passing out, and Campion takes the opportunity to signal the human race himself. And
I'm gonna go a little bit back.
go ahead.
Because one of my favorite parts is when that you show that she has like a they show that she has like a little bit of more power is when she changes into Spiria. I thought that was amazing. Like she's
That
talking in her voice, and then Campion's like, "Oh, I can't even remember the others.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget her." And she changes her face to look like Spiria. I thought that was a really really good scene.
that creeped the hell out of me. I gotta say.
Dude, that's one thing. Like, now imagine, imagine that your sister dies, your mother just randomly transformed her face into her face into your sister's face, just like that, a day after she just died.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's creepy.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
I'm
did
out.
like that it showed that mother was evolving into a creepy way, I guess.
There's definitely something about her.
Now, also in that conversation that they had right before Spirit died, when she was like coughing, and they were showing that she was sick, which
Hmm.
obviously she was the next one to die. Did you guys did you guys pay attention to what they were talking about? How she was basically forcing atheism down their throats?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
because yeah, Campion shows a little bit of signs that he wants to believe in like a higher power,
Yeah.
and oh, we can continue.
I believe what he says is, oh well, how do you know that the religion is false? Didn't they win the war?
Yeah, that it's fantasy or something like that.
Yeah, if they won the war, how do you know it's not real? And that's true. I mean, they did end up winning the war. The atheists were the ones that were fucking defeated.
Well, I actually have a theory against that, I guess,
What do you have to
because
say?
I personally think that the atheists actually programmed these androids to actually think that we lost the war, but or that the atheists lost the war, right? But what if the atheists actually won the war, and the arc that's coming is actually survivors of the war? So all the people that the atheists sent out are actually to try and battle them in a different place, the survivors.
Well, I
That
mean,
was what I
all
saw episode
all the
2.
survivors on that arc are Mithraic. They're all religious. Just want to
Of
point that
course.
out because
No,
they call the arc heaven.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like those, we actually, the atheists actually won the war. They were just programmed there to take all the embryos there to train them to crops or whatever on that planet. And the people that were going in the ark, I'm fully aware that they were religious, but I actually think they're more like survivors. Like they didn't win the war. Like they just send them to another planet to get them away from the war, I
well, like
guess.
those are the only survivors. No one else from that religion, or
Yeah,
yeah, because there's two sides.
yeah.
From the religious side, survived. That's what you're saying.
That was my theory. Like once I saw it, and then I saw the episode for a second
Yeah.
time, and I was like, how do we actually know? Because the androids are programmed to believe this.
Mhm.
They weren't actually, I guess, in the war that we know of so far. But then I guess that goes into Mother going into this sleep mode,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
she saw herself
yeah,
flying.
yeah. That's why, like, I want to let you talk, dude, but I'm just gonna point out that you're
Right?
full of shit and you're completely wrong. Cause,
Man, damn, Carlos, damn,
cause,
explain why shit, dude.
no, I don't. I can't explain because you gotta watch it for yourself, dude. So,
Okay.
I'll just say that it's without a doubt the Mithraics won the war,
Won the war.
and I know why, but I can't tell you why yet.
Wait, did you already finish the whole show?
No, I'm 3 episodes out. I'm 3 episodes from finishing.
Wow. Okay.
Because you should have told me, dude.
Why?
Okay. We just.
Moving on.
I'm just saying, dude. That's not what happens.
Okay,
I
okay.
think this is important for us to say because the whole show is about religion and atheists.
Oh
And
yeah, definitely, definitely, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
After they had that conversation and Spurious copying and all that stuff, I like the fact that they show Campion trying to pray. Like he doesn't
Oh,
know how, he was never taught how, but
yeah.
he's trying to pray because his sister just passed away. I thought that was so good. Like
mhm.
even
And
though he's taught to believe that there's no one that blah blah, he still tries because he believes in that. And Mother knows that's why they had that in that conversation. She's kind of just like she sees that line. What was that line that she says? Oh, it's believing in something brings peace
Peace to
to
the
the
mind,
mind,
but
but
it
it
also
also
weakens
weakens
it.
it.
hmm
Yeah, like I guess what that meant, or at least what I took from that, Carlos, was that it gives you an ease, it gives you time like to think about it as like, oh, okay, you know what? No, but God will save us, or whatever deity that they pray to, whatever. It's like, oh, that thing's gonna save us. It's like, wait, like, you could save yourself. You're just putting a stop to it, I guess, from progress in your mind. I don't know if that's
well, that's
how
the way the atheists see
I
it,
took
right?
it. Yeah, that's how I took it as well. I was like, okay, like that makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Well, you gotta. For so far in just episode one, we haven't seen anything from any actual believers, so we're only getting whatever the atheists believe of them, and they
But
could say
Yeah.
whatever they want, you know.
actually, we did get something on episode one on that. They talked about a child of prophecy.
We
That is
yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I do just want to say about the the Campion praying scene that
Uh huh.
um that father catches him praying, and
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, you better not let your mother catch you praying, because she's the strict one. She's the one that would actually do something about it." But
Yeah.
that shows you that it's already the mother and father are out of sync. That the father is looking out for the kid.
Yeah. Definitely. I guess that's the first time that it shows mother and father on the opposite ends of things instead of it just being more lenient. Because I mean, they are androids and they are programmed a certain way. Now, was father evolving like mother, but on the different route, like towards belief, or was he actually programmed that way to be like, you know what, just don't let mother find out a couple things that are gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's why when they have that argument and mother tells father, I thought we were in sync. I thought that was the perfect because we do see them like act differently, and then
Yeah,
mother brings that, and you're like,
Yeah.
she does.
Yeah. So
just
then,
wonder
in that
that and
argument, mother kills father
yes,
and actually lies to Campion about what happened. So that was, I think, a big scene that, like, there's no reason for Campion to disbelieve.
Right.
It's his first form of, like, deception. Like, no one's lied to him before.
Well, I mean, apparently that's what father told him though. The first lie was that there was giant snakes in those
Oh
holes.
yeah, you're right. You're
Remember
right.
to not
There
get
were
close to
serpent.
them.
yeah, yeah.
But then, as we find out, father's climbing down that hole, and then he sees that giant like skin
Mm-hmm.
of a snake, I guess,
I
or a
think it was
reptile.
a cloth, but actually, I actually hate that scene, and let me tell you why, dude.
Yeah,
Because
let me see.
that thing, like, you see fucking father go down with that fucking rope, and he's going down
Right.
to, he's supposed to be going to the ship and sending out distress signal for his son, but instead his eye is caught by this cloth or this, like, loose skin that's on the wall, and so
Uh
he
huh.
slides over to get that, and that frays the rope. And at that moment, you see Father grab the cloth and he's looking at it. He's like inspecting it. But then
Right.
Campion shouts out like, "Oh, you've got to worry about the rope. The rope is fraying." And he sends out another rope to save him. And then it cuts back to Father, and
Uh huh.
he doesn't have the cloth anymore. And we don't know what happened to it. I the first time I saw it, I thought he still had the cloth. I was waiting for it to come back,
Right.
but no, we just don't know what's up with that cloth.
I'm happy you said that you thought it was a cloth because the first time I thought it was a cloth, and then my brother said he thought it was a skin. I was like, maybe. I
Maybe.
thought it was clothes for some reason. I thought it was tali.
Tallies. Oh no.
Oh
Yeah, and I
no,
was like,
Tally.
yeah, and I was like, is that like something of hers or something that he just like, oh, she did fall. Like it's just more, like a affirmative,
Confirmation.
confirmation. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it honestly it just went straight to my head that it was a snake skin because I mean that's what they were talking about. Giant hole. Oh come on, Campion, they're extinct. Like we just lied to you guys because we're parents and that's what we do to our kids. And then boom, realization. Wait, like there's like something that looks like skin in here.
No,
I
yeah.
thought
That was
that's
that. It was gonna turn into monster movie.
exactly. That's when I was like, oh. Also, I mean they found the giant skull on the ground, so
Well,
that
they
was
knew
cool.
the snakes were a real thing. It's just I
Right.
will say I don't know if it's a snake skin just because like we all we have left from the snakes are bones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said reptile because I was like, it could be a snake, it could be something else, but I mean,
Yeah, it
they're
could
not.
be. It could be anything. We did not get enough of it, honestly.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see. Well, where are we right now in the episode one? I guess is we're just talking about
We're
father
we're
rope.
It's
talk.
it. We
Well,
just
at this point, it's Campion goes down the hole. He calls the. Well, he attempts to call the ship of humans, saying that he needs help. He ends up messing with the ship and starting the engines, and the ship ends up falling in the hole. So they lose the ship
yeah,
completely.
that's where we're at because he goes down the hole, makes Campion lie to mother. Mother and father have the argument. Mother kills father. She passes out. She malfunctions, passes out. Um, and then Campion goes into the ship and sends out a message.
Yeah.
That's exactly where we are.
So at that point,
The
um,
three or the four men show up. The
Yeah.
four men.
The three men and the android.
Yeah.
three men and the android. They show
Yeah.
up, and at this point, Mother's like, oh, like, she doesn't know what's going on, but she's like telling Campion, oh, you can't tell them I'm an android. You can't tell them I'm an android. You gotta listen to what I say, whatever. And she's basically trying to deceive them to make them think that they've been there longer than they have, and telling them basically to get off her land.
Yes.
Yeah.
But these three gentlemen here, the Templar of fucking Mithraic religion, they can see through her deception and see that, oh yeah, it's just an android with a fucking child, human child. We got to take the
Yeah.
child. Oh, the child might actually be the prophet, the the orphaned child on
Yeah, they talk
a
about that once,
foreign
like,
land.
because they stay the night. They ask if they could stay the night. She says yes because Campion asked her to let them, and she takes them to a room that they have outside, and that's where they're staying. And that's where they come up, or they're speaking, and they say that obviously she's an android, and that's where they start talking about the
The prophet.
prophecy. I don't,
So we don't
Oh,
know how they would have treated atheists, but for some reason, because they think that this boy may be a prophet, that could change how they how they see the situation where they want to protect the boy instead, because
right.
they know that the prophet is supposed to unlock the secrets of the Mithraic faith.
Yeah.
So from there, the next morning, the main soldier dude, the most charismatic one, he takes
Mark.
the
Yeah.
yeah, Marcus. He takes the boy aside. He's like, okay, I know what's going on here. Your android's malfunctioning, isn't she? You know, we can repair her. We just have to get you back to our ship, and we can do everything we need to from there. And he's like, oh well, I don't want to leave my mother. She's all I have now. And the guy's basically like, you know what, fuck this, and he basically just puts the kid on his shoulder and starts walking off with him. And Mother at this point starts shouting, and the android that the clerics brought with them ends up punching her. They have a little fight scene. It was actually a pretty good fight scene, I think.
It was. I got so excited. I was like, here we go. Like finally, we're gonna see her in action. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, we saw her in action with Father, but
yeah.
I don't think it was like a fair fight. I don't think Father wanted to fight her.
I don't think he wanted to hurt her.
No, he
Yeah,
just wanted to turn her off just to do a systems check.
Yeah.
yeah. And in this scene, I just got really excited. I was like, yes, like action. Like there's a problem, and she needs to defend her son. Which, by the way, going back to her showing emotions, she did because he's yelling for her. He's yelling like he's screaming,
Yeah.
"Mother, mother!" And she's getting beat.
Agitated?
Like no, like she's getting beat
Oh,
up,
yeah.
but she's hearing him, and I think that's what helps her get like I'm not gonna say adrenaline,
Hmm.
but she starts fighting back, and she's more aggressive until she finally like kills him.
And what I thought was real great is that they don't let you forget that these people are androids.
Mm?
There was zero moments where they actually screamed in pain. There
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
zero grunting. There was like, there was no blowing of air. There was no nothing. It was just pure
yeah,
smack, jump, hit, zero noise
yeah.
from them. Not obviously had them hitting the floor and all that. Obviously that's gonna make noise. But I'm talking about them themselves made no noise during that fight. And I
Mm-hmm.
was looking at that right now when we saw the episode earlier, and I was like, holy hell, like that is crazy. That's very, I guess, to a point where we come back to it, Carlos. I guess based on reality, because I mean, why would a robot be complaining about it?
Yeah, definitely. I love that fight scene. I mean, the moment I knew that I loved that fight scene was when the android got on the table and jumped off it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
love,
was cool.
yeah, I love that. But so they're fighting. It seems like the Mithraic android has the upper hand, but it seems like the cries for Mother unlock her potential or whatever, and
Right.
she ends up completely destroying that robot. And then she goes outside and she shouts at these two other soldiers, and they immediately die. They just, yeah, I don't know what happens to their faces, but their faces just,
I wrote down Medusa because I thought it was so because Marcus tells
Champion.
Campion don't look at her, and she's just she does this shout thing
Uh-huh.
that the sound waves just make them explode. Well, not explode. They
well,
bubbled
they
up.
do. Well, they do later. But
Yeah,
right
later
here, it
on,
just disfigures
those
their
two
face.
men just bubbled up.
Maybe just their insides exploded, because
Maybe,
you're right. Later on, the full body just like explodes.
or
But I
maybe
guess
she held herself back because Campion was there.
makes sense.
Maybe, maybe.
Makes sense.
I don't know. I thought it was really cool, but also, it kind of bothered me how he trusted Marcus more, like by not looking at his mother. Like the mother goes and kind of checks on him, but he's covering his face and doesn't want to look at her. I'm like, okay, like, Champion, just
Well,
hold
we don't
on.
know. We don't know what's going on yet, so we don't know if it's something that protected
Shit, all
him,
I know is that
and that could just be why they needed to do that just for continuity.
I mean, all I saw was that the son completely ignored the mother and listened to a stranger,
Yeah,
Carlos,
like,
I
stranger
understand
danger.
that. I understand that, but I'm thinking big picture and thinking like, okay, well, why would you kill your protagonist at the beginning if that's what's gonna happen?
no, I don't think she can. She can. I don't think she can help it. Like just
I mean, I don't think she knows how to turn it
Yeah,
off,
it
I
seems
guess.
like
yeah.
she doesn't even know what's going on, right? Because
Exactly.
Like
we'll get
thank
into
God
it. We'll get into it,
Apollo
but in the
worked
second
recording
episode,
this.
they address that.
They address it later on.
Oh, in the second episode, that once her eyes are activated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they talk about her eyes later.
Yeah.
That's true.
All
But
right, cool. So
so
right
in
now,
so right now, the robot is basically fucking up all these clerics that were trying to take her boy, and she goes back to the ship that they landed on, knocks out the last dude, and takes the ship back to the main ship, the ship with 1,000 fucking humans.
the arc.
Yeah, the Ark Heaven. Takes the ship back to heaven. And what ends up happening is she breaks in, she completely wipes out all resistance. Basically, there's a whole. Think like the fucking corridor scene from Star Wars with all
With
these
Darth
rebel
Vader.
troopers. Yeah, all these rebel troopers just shooting down the hallway. And instead of Darth Vader just like slashing them or whatever, it's just the mother shouting at these people, and they disintegrate. They just completely blow up into nothing.
Yeah.
And she makes her way all the way to the control room, and she kills everyone there, everyone that she could see. And she goes to the machine, and she's like, "Okay, well, I want this ship to, uh, I want to crash course into the planet. I want this ship to crash into the planet." The computer's like, "No, it needs to be authorized."
Right.
And then she hears like a little scurrying sound. She ends up looking under the desk. There's a human. She pulls him out, and he's keeping his eye, because what the computer asked for is a retina scan. He's covering his eyes. She pulls him apart and pulls off his fucking eyelid,
Oh,
and
that was gross, dude. That
and
was
Yeah.
cool though. That was cool.
and pulls his face to the screen, and it scans his retina. And okay, we're gonna crash into the planet now.
Let me go back to the beginning of that scene where you just started, basically giving us a recap of what we're at, which is, by the way, I think it's great, Carlos. You doing that and keeping us in track.
Sure.
Um, dude. So okay, back to the beginning of that scene. Mother gets on the ship. She's about to fly
Yeah.
out.
Okay. For that,
Okay.
I love that scene because she's flying and she's trying to look for Marcus. She finds him and walks towards the ship. Like she knew she could catch this guy no matter what. Like it was that suspense moment that I was like, she is fucking amazing. I
In
wrote down,
control.
yeah, I wrote down brilliant, amazing shit is going down. Like I was so excited. I was so excited by the way she walks towards the ship because she knows that he can see her, and just knocks, like super calm. Like it was just amazing. I love that scene.
and and again, when she actually breaks into that ship, him Mark is not looking at her at all and starts shooting. He just turns around and he
Yeah.
knows that she's there and he starts shooting, fully aware that if he looks at her, he's dead.
No,
Takes off, goes, yeah,
I just want to say I love that actor, the guy who plays Marcus. Like that scene
Marcus.
where he's shooting off the shells, and she just repels every bullet that he sends off, and then he's not looking, but you can see like the expression on his face just turns to kind of despair.
yeah,
Yes. And then he kind of just tries to still kind of stop her by saying he's not safe here with you.
Yeah, trying to appeal
Like
to something else.
yeah.
yeah. I thought it was great when she actually takes off, drives off to the arc itself, and she uses the full body
Yeah.
transformation, and she switches her appearance to Marcus himself, and I was
Yeah.
like, damn, she's actually trying out these new skills that she's learning, or possibly reactivated in herself, right?
Yeah,
Because throughout she's not getting emotional. I think her programming is just getting
well,
reactivated.
that's why. Like it
Yeah.
might whatever happened unlocked the potential within her.
Exactly.
It could have also been because I'm gonna go back to her murdering father. She pulled something out of him and she ate it, didn't she?
Did she eat it? The heart or the
I
processor,
I
whatever you want to
am
call
not
it?
sure.
Did
The
I?
first time I saw it, I thought she did. The
Sorry.
second time I saw it, I honestly
It's
don't
because they don't
remember.
show it.
Yeah, they
They don't
don't really
show it.
show it.
I thought she consumed it somehow because it wasn't until later that she got the processor from the other android that it repaired him.
Yeah.
I thought I remember her eating that, but then when I saw it today again, I didn't see that. But I don't know. So I think that could have had something to do with it too. Like she could have been running on two processors.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it could be actually. But then again, well, I mean, we'll talk about that right now. Once you mentioned Carlos, when you mentioned right now that she was in the room where basically she was trying to make the ship crash into Kepler B, 22B, real planet.
Mm.
And when she was trying to make the ship crash and act for that retinal scan, I don't know if you noticed, Carlos, but Letty pointed out actually that she could hear the guy's heartbeat because
Mm.
music goes down, no sound
Yeah.
is
And she's walking
yeah,
around looking for the bodies, and then the heartbeat slowly starts to get higher,
I did
and
not notice that.
she
No.
stops
yeah,
and she sees the guy
yeah,
hiding, the coward, by the way,
yeah, coward,
hiding under
the desk.
the desk.
Yeah, because right now you said that he kind of like shuffled and makes some noise. Actually, he didn't. He was perfectly still,
Okay.
freaking the hell out that a killer robot just murdered all his
Oh,
squad, dude,
yeah.
and is just walking around freely in his room, dude. He was hidden, and Letty pointed out, I was like, oh, like, can you hear that? and it was the heartbeat, dude. Like she could hear the guy's heartbeat.
Well, if we redo this, then we know that that's something that we've got to make sure we get right. Because I did not hear that. I just watched what happened and like, oh yeah, she found him.
Yeah. Well, it's because, well, I guess a side note besides from what we're doing right now, we saw the episode once.
We saw it. Wanted to see it. We saw it today again because the first time we saw it, we were taking notes, and I feel like I
Yeah.
would try to pause it so I could take my notes, but it seemed like it interrupts the
Yeah,
episode.
Yeah.
So seeing it again, it kind of just.
Worked.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we already had our notes and how to talk about it, and then we started to notice little things like that, like the actual heartbeat of the guy, and I was like, holy hell, like that's crazy. Because I didn't notice that the first time,
yeah,
and because I was writing notes on it.
that's really cool. It is really cool.
Right, cool. So,
So
Continue.
she
Brad?
is just set the ship to crash course into the planet, and then she like turns around and goes into what shows this room with tons of kids, and it shows
Right.
her preparing to go into the room. She covers her eyes with a I guess
Cloth, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah, with some cloth just to have some sort of blindfold. And she goes through this chamber that completely disinfects her. Um, and I point that out because she was covered in blood from killing all those people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this room just completely disinfects her. And then she goes into this room. All these kids are like, "What the fuck? Who the hell?" And she just goes up to the kids, all happy, just to have kids, right?
Right.
She seems to be programmed to have a certain attraction towards caring for kids.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. Then again, she is like a mother. She's supposed to be a mother figure, so it makes sense that she just always has like a friendly face on. I guess so, sort of approachable would
yeah,
be the word.
at least to kids, right?
Yes.
So
Uh,
from there, it cuts back to Campion, I believe.
yes. He's cleaning up the bodies or covering up the bodies.
Yeah, he's trying his best to bury them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really sad that scene actually broke me, because
Yeah.
this boy he just gathered the bodies just by himself, and he's all alone now, because his
Yeah.
mother killed the father who and went off on this spaceship, and he's just trying to clean up. He's just trying to be a good boy, and he sees this giant spaceship, the Heaven ship, fly over him, and it's going down. It just careens into the mountainside that's overlooking their camp, and I just love the colors that the ship creates as it
Yeah.
explodes.
I was talking about that. I was like, it reminded me of like the Northern Lights. It was
Yeah,
like a beautiful. It sounds really bad because the people died, right? But it was like a beautiful explosion.
I want to point out that no actual people died in the making of this.
I mean, I hope not.
Well, people died while they were producing this, but they had nothing to do with this.
Of course, of course.
It's not like all death on Earth stopped as they recorded this.
On that scene that you were talking about when he's actually burying all those the dead bodies of the soldiers, I guess, that were there. I didn't even think about that scene. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, but I guess at that point my mind was trained to that kid because that kid's been doing that all his life, man. Like
Yeah,
day one, they were like he said they were 8, and
There
every time someone would die, it's just they were, well, mother and father.
yeah. He
No.
would watch his father bury them.
Exactly, he would just watch and burying them. So I guess he just did. Not, I mean, that's the only thing that he knew. Like someone dies, you put him
Bury
in a
them.
hole. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And so with that ship exploding in the background, it Mother's little pod ship comes back, and she says hello to Campion, and she's like, "Oh, you got to greet all your new brothers and sisters, make sure they feel welcomed." And it reveals that she's taken 5 children from this ship. And I point out that it's only 5 because there were more than 5 kids on the ship. She left all
Yeah.
those other kids to die.
Yeah, dude. That's the real dark question. Did she actually just leave them there to die, or did she kill them?
Um,
I don't think she did that in front of the other kids,
No,
though, right?
she's definitely not Anakin. That's the thing. Like I actually wrote that down here.
Right. Okay.
That
I would like
she's not
to
Anakin
know
because
that.
she didn't kill all the kids. She only killed most of the kids.
Yeah. I like the fact that, oh, I don't like it, right? She could have taken all the kids, but he took the same, I guess, diversity that she originally had. Like it was five.
I didn't
It,
notice that.
yeah, she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, she took the same.
Was
Same
it
rate.
3 girls, 3 boys?
Not, I didn't pay attention too much to the gender,
Oh, you're talking
but
about the
I,
race.
yeah, race. She took the same race as her other kids. The original six kids, except for Campion, or five.
Yeah,
Um, she took the same amount and the same race as the kids she originally had.
I guess
Hmm.
she just took whatever. Sadly, you're right. I guess she took whatever mostly reminded her of those kids just to replace them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish the episode was longer, and since it was I got to point that out at this point now that
Right.
the first 2 episodes are directed by Ridley Scott. It makes me wonder if there is any footage left on the cutting room floor. If at some point there could be a director's cut, I would be down.
Definitely. Ridley Scott did make a lot of great movies too.
I haven't
Like
seen like any of his shit.
Jesus Christ, dude. He's the one that came. He's the one that directed the Alien movies, the old Alien.
Yeah, yeah, I know that. I know that. But has he done anything else lately?
Dude, lately, actually, I don't know.
I think he did Prometheus, but that's it.
I mean, we could. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I'm looking it up right now.
that's exactly what Letty was like. Oh, let me look.
Oh,
Let
he
me
did
check.
Blade Runner. Okay, I take everything back. He also did The Martian. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, yeah, with Matt Damon or
You've got to watch that. You've got to watch Interstellar, dude.
definitely. Need to wait for Tori to disappear though, and then I watch Interstellar.
Yeah. I want to point out that so far in this recording, we've gone 46 minutes. I don't know if I have enough in me for the second episode right now.
That's fine.
I think that's perfect. I think I did set like a goal for this, and I 40 minutes I think is perfect.
What was the goal you set?
40, but
40.
we
Oh,
went
yeah.
a little bit over. No.
Yeah, we're at 47 now.
Yeah, that was my goal. 40.
But
Cool, cool.
wait, wait.
All right, all right.
Are
Well,
we gonna
what?
are we gonna do like closing things and like what we're gonna talk about next time?
I have conclusion written here, but I don't have anything written down.
Give me 5 minutes, dude. Some guys outside's gonna give me some
Oh,
cash.
do that, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll do that.
I guess maybe something I want to think about is maybe talking about trigger warnings because I do think those may be necessary.
Yeah. I thought the as 'cause I saw this movie and I wrote a horrible review for one of my classes because they did show a born still baby,
A
and I
stillborn.
found that super uncomfortable. So when this show literally like 9 minutes in, there's a stillborn, I was like, oh my god. But she brought him back, right? So
Yeah, no, and it's a pretty powerful scene.
I feel like it would be a good thing if we do trigger warnings.
Yeah, yeah. So I would think maybe trigger warnings. I know some people are really iffy about talking about religion at all, so
Yeah.
maybe that's something. But for the second episode, definitely rape
Hmm.
because they talk about rape. It's never shown, and I don't think that they will. It seems like any reason for this being rated M is just for the violence, because it seems like they're not going to get into too many adult subjects just because they're focused on surviving.
Yeah.
No time for drugs and alcohol and sex and rock and roll.
No, no time for that. It was just, it's mostly surviving and people exploding.
A lot of people exploding. Oh my god.
I really love the sound waves that she creates. Like I find it amazing. I wrote down Medusa because Marcus was like, "Don't look at her,"
Mhm.
but it's honestly just her sound waves. Oh, but then again, like she does cover her eyes when she goes to look at the kids. So
I guess I didn't really look at this too much here, but I can just go off these little bullet points that I listed here for the first episode.
yeah.
Um, I wrote down anti-atheism propaganda.
Okay.
Atheism becomes a religion to make fun of, because as I watched this with Luis and my sister, I
Mhm.
love riffing on the religious undertones when it comes to atheism. They make atheism to be its own belief system here.
Yeah, they really do.
I put down priests and prophets. That's something we could talk about next time. Um, I wrote down pro-life coming to take your kids, because the religious people come and take Campion.
Pro life.
Heaven, can you hear me? I really like that line when Marcus is at the end and he's just waking up from being passed out for God knows how long, and he's just like, "Heaven, can you hear me?" And you just hear static.
I guess that also lets us know like, hey, there's two more teams out there. That gives us a little reminder of that. Because he after he does the heaven, he asks for team 3. Like, where are you guys?
Yeah,
And boom,
and
he gets out.
yeah, it's static still. It seems whatever the explosion is giving off, it may have been interfering with his comms.
Yeah, probably. That's probably what ended up happening.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm going a little bit into episode 2. But how did they know that he would be in that place?
Oh
Well,
well, I don't know.
he had the fucking recorder, the communicator, so they may have been following that signal.
Not just that. When they actually make it to him, you know how those creatures pushed him down the hole for some random reason.
Yeah.
Okay, well you could hear his chest beating or
Oh,
beeping.
okay.
Like,
Like it was like a
yeah, it was
GPS,
sounding like
like
it
a
was probably
signal.
like a distress signal.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because I heard it like beep 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 beep, and then they get closer and they're like, oh, he's around here, he has to be around here, and then they pull him up, and I was like, okay, that's probably
Okay.
what it was.
I thought it was like maybe they do cut it off and we don't get to see him talking to them,
Hmm.
but like he let them know that he was there.
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's true.
All right. Well, maybe this is just gonna end up being a Raised by Wolves podcast, at least for its inception. We'll see.
At least for now.
Yeah, because
The
I'm enjoying talking about this. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. What did you Okay, cool. So what did you guys end up deciding about conclusions?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Like, are we gonna say, okay, guys, this is enough time we have for today, blah blah blah.
Oh, you mean like
Yeah.
a wrap up, like a little
Yeah,
outro?
yeah. I'm just talking about an outro, really. I'm not.
Oh,
Oh,
hmm.
and we're done for today, or no,
I,
no.
I I'll come back to you on that actually. Let me get on the road and just have time to think, and I want to do
Okay.
something that has to do with the name.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
But if you think of anything, let me know too.
Like, I'll see you guys on the far side of the moon.
Oh, god damn it, that might be it. That might be the that might the best that might be the best thing we can come up with.
Like, that's it, dude. That's it.
I'm gonna write that down.
Write that down. Also write down. Till next time, our we're sending our signal from the far side of the moon.
Shit. That's all we have. That's all we have. That's all the time we have for today, since we're on the far side of the moon,
Okay, write all three of those sides.
Okay,
guys.
no,
All
wait. Can
three.
you repeat the one you said?
All right, I got mine.
The one I said.
Yeah, the one you said.
Fuck. What did I say? It was signing off or something. Sending our signal from the far side of the moon. Something like that. God damn it! I already forgot what I said.
Okay.
I'm too tired, dude. We gotta wrap this up.
Hold on, Carlos. Give me a second, then.
Okay, and then yours.
And
Oh, you
then,
wanna type it?
yeah.
And I could set this to upload at some point and send you guys the link.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a way that we could that you could just upload it somewhere privately so we
Oh
could
yeah,
just check
that's
it?
what I was definitely gonna do.
Definitely. Okay, so definitely a test run. I don't think it was bad. I really liked the way, Carlos, that you would kind of just because me and Lete would just go off about random fucking tantrums.
That's fine.
But, yeah, but I kind of like the way that you would bring us back. I'm like, wait, hold on, like this is where we're at now. We're at this scene, this scene, this is happening. Here we were at, and then boom, we talk about it.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like it would be great if we do that since the beginning, because in the very intro that we talked about, we mentioned everything in the episode. I feel like we did,
we
but I
may
mean, I guess
have, but honestly, I think we were all very eager to talk about what we had on our minds.
yeah,
Yeah,
not just eager. I
but
feel like we're all nervous, dude.
yeah, but
Oh
in a
yeah.
way, it kind of like it's just started blending in.
Yeah,
Like at the beginning, it was kind of like, oh, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this, I want to talk, but it kind
yeah.
of like slowly started like finding its
Building
form.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely that's something that we're gonna get better with as we practice.
Right,
Okay.
definitely.
But I will say I would also be down to adjust the formula, and maybe someone else can try taking the reins, and I could be one of the people just chiming in with random things. But
Okay,
I'm okay with being the one that tries to be the.
You
we
can
could.
also give your input, like not necessarily.
I definitely did. I definitely did.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did. So.
yeah. Because I mean, what we could do is actually have maybe write down ourselves, maybe like the scenes, like the way you cut it down. Maybe we could just do that ourselves. Like, okay, this is where we're at. Couple scenes, boom, boom, boom. Maybe like 3 or 4 scenes, and have that there to ourselves. That way, whoever wants to do it or whoever decides to do it that day or that podcast that we're doing, runs it, and then
Mhm.
everyone else just bounces off of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's like I said. I mean, it's our first time as a test.
I
I feel
think
like it
we
was
did good.
pretty good.
Yeah. I guess now that I think about it a little more, maybe a good way to do an outro would be leaving off with a question for the listeners.
Okay.
Also a question.
Not just for engagement, but just because this is supposed to get people thinking about things. We just give them a little thing to think about, you know? Doesn't have to relate to what we're talking about. I can't think of anything right now, but I know of something I would ask for the next episode.
Like I mean, shit.
I
Like
guess I can just tell you that tell you guys that what I wrote down as my question for the next episode because I wrote down would you do what and Marcus no would you do what Caleb and Mary did?
Hmm.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
But I mean, in this one, since we only ended with the first episode. I guess we would.
Would you do? Would you do this question so like the listeners can keep an eye out for Caleb and Mary in the second episode? Is that
No,
what you're
no, no.
saying?
I'm saying that I would ask that question at the end of this recapping the second episode.
Oh,
The
okay.
end of
Okay.
recapping the second episode. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what we would ask about this first episode.
Well, I mean, well, Campion just saw a different side of his mother. Like,
Yeah,
what
and
side would you guys pick?
at the end he says that he doesn't trust his mother, and he believes that there's a little bit of her
Of her
inside
inside of him.
him. So
Well, I think what he said was maybe this thing was always inside of her. Maybe there's something inside of me too.
yeah,
Right. There you go.
exactly.
Oh, I also wrote down, Carlos, that maybe we should quote the show a little bit more.
I would
Because I
love to.
mean, it obviously is about the show, right? Obviously, what we're talking about. But maybe throw in a little bit more quotes. I feel like we did, but we just need to make sure that we write them down correctly
Yeah.
Yes,
and
yes.
proper pronunciation.
Pronunciation. We definitely
I
have to
will try
look
my best
into
to
that.
take Doug at pronounce. You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, characters' names. It's really easy to just. So far, this episode, we only had to follow three names was fucking Campion, mother, and father.
And
Yeah.
Spiria,
Stereo Marcus.
Yeah, Tally.
Tally.
But I mean, we didn't talk about Marcus. He's not. He's the main character of the next episode.
Yeah, he
Like,
already did.
I guess for example, like me, I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to talk about the scene where Mother's explaining them, like he has Spiria and Campion sitting down together. I love that whole scene because she's
The
basically,
exposition.
yeah, dude. She's basically bringing that, and I actually had it written down because I asked Letty if she knew what that meant about the, like, hey, Spirit, can you explain to me how the number 5 relates to basically all ways of life? I actually had that written down because I knew what that meant. I had seen that like some other day, but I didn't know how to bring it in into the way we
No,
were talking.
yeah, yeah. Maybe next time we can talk about that beforehand, and we can try to set up a layup for that.
Okay, like Basically, a script is what we're talking about here.
No, not a script, but like I would be begging the question, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I get you. I get you. By the way, the 5 points are, guys, is adaptability, inspiration, curiosity, progressive thinking, good communication, and sexual attraction.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. By the way, we hit an hour.